Gavin Newsom conducts his own Mao's Great Leap Forward, DEI and reparation, agricultural land seizure. We're going to break that one down. That is our lead story of the day. The White House has a report showing lower inflation in Trump-won states. Empty daycare raises alarms over Minnesota child care fraud. Another scheme, another fraud coming out of Minnesota. California auditor flags 8 high-risk programs costing billions of dollars, which means more fraud happening in Democrat-ran areas. And there seems to be a common theme. Democrats love to destroy things and drive it right into the ground. Appreciate everybody being here with me on this fine morning. Well, as I mentioned, our lead story of the day is the great Gavin Newsom. And Gavin is trying his own Maoist great leap forward here in the state of California. Now, if you want to know how Gavin would govern the entire country if he ever became president, look no further than what he's quietly been doing in my home state of California. Because Gavin has done an amazing job in driving my state right into the ground. Buried deep in a 2022 state budget during the COVID lockdowns, where he got to go out to the French Laundry with all his buddies and friends and have a good time, while all of us had to stay locked in. The press was locked out and the public wasn't paying attention because Newsom created something called the California Agricultural Land Equity Task Force. I mean, it sounds pretty harmless. Sounds like, what's the big deal? Which would be the reason why probably nobody wanted to look under the hood regarding it, because it looked pretty simple, but it's not. According to Newsom, California is facing an agricultural land equity crisis. Like, think about that. It's not talking about a drought. It's not talking about wildfires, not a labor shortage, not even regulations crushing families and farmers. No, the crisis that he's referring to is this. Yeah, there's not enough farm workers own the land they work on. That's it. That's what he's talking about. I mean, by that logic, teachers should own schools, dock workers should own ships, and factory workers should own factories. I mean, this is not agricultural policy. He'll make it seem like it is, but this is more Marxism dressed up as DEI language. And that's why its own Maoist great leap forward here. We're going back to the 60s, folks. Now, here's where things kind of go in weird directions. And here's how the task force defines agricultural land equity: is secure and affordable access to viable land without systemic barriers, disparities, and exploitation. You might be thinking, well, what does that mean, Brad? That seems a little bit odd. Why would you phrase it that way? Well, let me help you. What that means is the state decides who deserves the land and who doesn't, and who must give it up. I am telling you, this is out of Mao's Great Leap Forward. I know I keep repeating it. And yes, by the way, race, ethnicity, and grievance status are central to making that decision. I didn't want to leave that one out for all of you. Check this out. The report recommends this: the state and nonprofits outbidding legacy farmers at auction, purchasing farmland, then leasing it only to approved minority groups with special tax credits, debt forgiveness, and priority access to conservation programs. White farmers? What about family farms? Multi-generational agricultural producers? They're all shut out. Screw them. This is so wild. This is a redistribution by design by the great Gavin Newsom. The task force goes further. I know. Yeah, there's more. It's incredible. It suggests local ordinances restricting who can purchase agricultural land, potentially limiting ownership based on demographic categories. I mean, this isn't speculation. This is in the report. This is the DEI takeover of California's food supply, man. It is bonkers. Then you have the whole constitutional violations that are happening. I mean, this is actually illegal. This is so, but it's Gavin doing it. We got to look the other way when things happen illegally. I mean, look at Minnesota, what's going on over there with the fraud. You don't think that's happening here in my state of California? U.S. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins sent Newsom a blunt warning letter. She accused California of violating the 14th Amendment, the equal protection, the 5th Amendment, the takings clause, California Proposition 209, which bans racial discrimination, and the will of voters who reaffirmed that ban in 2020. Her message was clear. Gavin, come here, buddy. It's unconstitutional. And it will be fought, of course. Yeah, they'll take it to court probably. The report explicitly references California's reparations task force, which Newsom also created. This task force already pushed for repealing Proposition 209, guaranteed income programs, race-based wealth redistribution. Now, ideas are being plugged directly into agricultural. And much of the land, according to the report, would be steered towards, you're going to love this, Native American tribes, minority collectives, politically favored groups. Meanwhile, you have productive farmland that could be converted into casinos and tax-exempted tribal land. Who makes up the lost tax revenue, by the way? I guess that's a good question, too, off the top of my head. Who's going to make up for all that's gone? Oh, yeah, no, it's you and I. Correct. Yes, that's who's going to make it up, meaning your taxes go what? They go up. Correct. Just constantly forever going up. How much more can we nickel and dime you? How much more money can we take out of your pocket? We already have the highest taxes in the union, the worst roads in the unions, the most homelessness in the union, the most illegal immigration in the union, the most high taxes in the union, the highest gas prices in the union. I mean, what's another few percent at this point, I suppose? You're not even going to feel it. It's like when you've been beat down so hard, like what's another punch at this point? And California already feeds the nation, which this plan, what's going to happen is it drives farmers out, adds regulatory mandates, imposes climate compliance rules, and shrinks productive land. And what's the result for all of you? Because everybody always goes, oh, well, how does this impact me? Boo-hoo, you guys in California, move out, blah, 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 blah. Well, it causes higher food prices, and you're going to have less supply and more dependency. So you think that this has no effect on you, but we have massive agricultural here in California. Oh, it does definitely has an impact on you. In the same way, our gas of us getting rid of these oil refineries that we covered before also impact other states. Arizona and Nevada buy oil from us. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a problem now it's all competition, which more demand causes prices to go up. Why history should terrify you regarding what you're seeing. And as I mentioned, the great leap forward here. This rhetoric should sound very familiar because in China, Mao Zedong launched the Great Leap Forward, collectivizing agriculture under socialist slogans. Gee, sounds a lot like what's happening right now. The result, well, tens of millions were deleted. You had widespread famine. It was horrible. And state-controlled food distribution. If you've never read Mao's Great Leap Forward, I've read about 4 or 5 books on it. Highly recommend you check that out. If you need any recommendations, I'll try to post some later. As people starved, Mao's regime exported grain. Yes, you heard that correctly. That history is not taught in California schools, by the way. Of course it's not, because it makes people look bad. You got to pretend like communism, socialism, dictatorships, authoritarianism, it's a good thing. And Newsom's blueprint, by the way, I mean, I hate to say it, it is literally coming really, really close to what Mao was doing. My final thoughts on this. This is just a test run. That's what I think is going on here. This isn't some fringe idea. It's comprehensive. It's detailed, by the way, if you read the report, very detailed. And it's already in motion. Secretary Rollins warned this. She said this radical DEI agenda needs to be stopped immediately. Because if Gavin Newsom is willing to experiment with land seizures, racial allocation, and food production in California, imagine what he's going to do to the entire country when he runs in 2028. It's about property rights. It's about food security, constitutional law, and whether America remains free. I hope that you share the story. I hope if you enjoyed what you saw here, hit that like and subscribe button, folks, because we're covering what's going on in California, but we also cover what's going on out there in the rest of the United States. Appreciate you. Well, folks, it's good to see all of you. Hopefully you're enjoying this fine morning. We're trying a new time slot. I just want to go back to 9 o'clock really quick. We want to experiment a little bit, and I wanted to sleep in just a tiny bit. And that's going to be uploaded as an extra video later on this week. So I guess you kind of saw a little bit of the recording going on. But it's good to see all of you. That's crazy, though, is it not? Sorry, I hit my mic really hard. I apologize to your ears. Isn't that crazy, you guys? Frig, man. I really do believe this. I think people are sleeping on Gavin Newsom. Not sleeping on him like literally, but I mean, like, I think they're not paying enough attention to this guy. Y'all think Kamala Harris was bad or Joe Biden, dude? You haven't seen anything, bro. I've lived it, dude, for years with this guy. And it's like raising the red flag and waving it in front of your face. And people are not paying attention. Oh boy, they are really, really not paying attention, man. And it's bad. Speaking of not paying attention, dude, did you guys hear this story yesterday? Yo. If you guys didn't hear this about the Epstein files, this is bonkers, dude. So, I can't believe this happened. I suppose I could. The government sucks at everything. The DOJ tried to redact the Epstein docs. The issue is TikTok found a workaround. Dude, this is... I don't know how this happens, truthfully. I mean, somebody really messed up. The Department of Justice failed to foolproof some of the redactions made to the Epstein files, leading to some unredacted versions of documents appearing online. Some people have discovered that the redactions with the Justice Department says have been made to protect victims can be undone or worked around through Photoshop or simply copying and pasting the text in a document. So there's a video clip here. I want to see if I can find it of Zach Rahr, Asmongold. He's a streamer. And I watch him quite a bit, by the way. So make sure you head over there, like and subscribe. Not that the guy needs it. I mean, the guy has a ton of views. He's like one of the top streamers in the world. And let me see if I can find that clip for all of you really quick at the last minute here. I was so baffled. I couldn't believe what I was seeing with him. So let me see if I can find it. I was so baffled that you could just copy and paste this and it just shows you all the redactions. Here we go.
The Department of Justice. The Trump administration is continuing its unprecedented support for the Epstein transparency after the Biden administration declined to make any files public. This is obviously a misrepresentation. Trump has gone out and pretended like he didn't know what they're talking about, and he tried to make the appeal to triviality.
Oh, 1 second. My screen's all messed up. That's weird. Hold on a second. We're having issues. Technical difficulties. Are we still streaming? Oh, no. Hold on a second. Hello? I think we're still streaming. I'm not sure. Ooh, okay, that was 2 days ago. That's not the one I wanted. I wonder if that was the plan. That's okay. That's why I'm trying to get this pulled up for all of you. That's what I was thinking, that maybe this was the plan of like, oh, oops, made a small mistake. Sorry. But there's a smaller Asmongold clips. Let me see if I can find it. I apologize. I guess I should have had this queued up, but it kind of came up the top of my head. On Rumble, you are. Okay, good. Yeah, my computer's like freaking out right now. Oh, yeah, I think this is it.
Users on TikTok realizing they can just copy paste the redacted text to read what it says.
Oh, look at this pesky redaction.
Watch this.
Just get rid of that.
No way. Try it? We're going to try it right now. Open in Adobe. All right, now we're going to copy this. We're going to save it. And this is from the government website right here, justice.gov. One of the moment of truth. We're talking about, this is the federal government, and they can't figure out how to put a black bar over some text.
Just for context, this is not all files, but on multiple PDFs, the government, instead of redacting the information using the Adobe function, they highlighted the text with the black marker.
Check page 41. Okay. I'm not suicidal. Defendants also attempted to conceal their criminal sex trafficking and abuse conduct.
If you're confused by what's happening here, here's 203, 204, and 205. It's all redacted on the actual government document, but you can remove it by copying it, pasting it into another document. And so what he has here for all of you on the right-hand side is what it says under the redaction. This is for all the 30,000 files that was released. Yo, and some of it's it's not good. Okay, some of it's really, really not good.
By paying large sums of money to participant witnesses, including by paying for their attorney's fees and their case costs. Epstein also threatened harm to victims and helped release damaging stories about them to damage their credibility when they tried to go public with their stories of being sexually trafficked and abused. Why was that blocked? I don't know. For which Indike Executory Authority acting on his behalf. Payments from this account totaling almost $60,000 were transferred by wire to young women. Why would this be censored? The law didn't say you can make an exception for that. It doesn't make any sense. They're redacting any mention of anyone outside the known circle interacting with Epstein. People want to know who these people are. I think that's exactly what's going on. Indike, an attorney who'd represented Epstein for decades, represents Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and previously represented Donald Trump. So let me get this straight. The guy who was found to be wiring money, supposedly hush money, to these young girls never got indicted. He left his job. He got hired by the group that represents both the current defense secretary and Donald Trump. The files that were released now just came out with his name selectively redacted from them. Somebody got caught with their hand in a cookie jar. The latest Epstein file drops a bombshell. Epstein personally negotiated contracts for Southern Air Transport, the CIA, Iran's Contradon running airline, and relocated its ops from Miami to a Columbus, Ohio military base to service his companies. The links straight... What the fuck? Bro, this guy, how is this guy able to do all this stuff? If he wasn't such a fucking creep, I'd be impressed. Knows every president, and they come to his house, and they have a picture of the former president, Bill Clinton, in a dress. There's another photo. He's running CIA deals between Iran, the United States, Israel, and then he's funneling it to his own companies. Yeah, it's like he was the main character. Well, he was the main villain, okay? Part of Doge changes, canceled all of the Adobe user licenses, can't properly redact without Adobe Pro. Elon was the whistleblower all along. So are you telling me that the reason why we lose these, we not getting the redactions, is because Elon cut Adobe Pro memberships? Here's what's crazy about it, is that we found this out in like 15 minutes.
Dude, it's really, really bad. But that was my other theory, is what Feckin was saying, is I wonder if that was by plan to be able to redact it. I think I'm leaning more towards that direction only because you got to be some next level idiot, right? I mean, you got to be really stupid. And to do that with 30,000 documents? I mean, come on. So that's the thing. I had to share that with you. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Here's let's kind of go through this a little bit though, really quickly. So some have discovered the redactions. In one redacted file, the blacked out portion pertains to how the late financier Jeffrey Epstein and his associates allegedly obtained young victims for sexual abuse. This is according to The Guardian. Between September 2015 and 2019, Indike signed for over $400,000 made payable to young female models, and actresses, including a former Russian model who received over $380,000 through monthly payments of about $8,300. Wow, she's making good money. Made over a period of more than 3.5 years until the middle of 2019, says one redacted portion from a civil case in the Virgin Islands. Jeez. Other sections from the civil case detail how Epstein himself paid off or threatened victims to keep them from speaking to authorities. Jeez, man, this is crazy. Defendants also attempted to conceal their criminal sex trafficking and abuse conducted by paying large sums of money to participant witnesses, including by paying for their attorneys' fees and case costs in litigation related to this conduct, one file stated. Epstein also threatened harmed victims and helped release damaging stories about them to damage their credibility when they tried to go public with their stories of being trafficked and sexually abused. Epstein also instructed one or more Epstein Enterprise participant witnesses to destroy evidence relevant to ongoing court proceedings involving defendants' criminal sex trafficking and abuse conduct. Wow. The Justice Department announced its latest batch of Epstein files releases on Tuesday. Whoa, oh boy. Oh boy. The stuff that people are going to come out with from this it's just going to be head spinning. Now, is it all true? We don't know. Merry Christmas to you. I appreciate that, Peggy. God bless you. Hope you have a wonderful weekend as well with you and your family. It's my favorite holiday. It's my favorite time of the year, Christmas. There's gratitude. You get to celebrate Christ. I mean, it is my favorite holiday. The theme of it all, the lights, the Christmas tree. It's just nostalgia, man. All right, we got this one for all of you. White House report shows lower inflation in Trump won states. I have no excuse right now. It's 9:00. I slept in a wee bit, and that's just a slip up on my part. But it's good to see all of you. I'm glad that we're all here right now. Try a new time slot right now. Just see what happens. All right. Well, the Council of Economic Advisors used Bureau of Labor Statistics data through November 2025, assigning regional consumer price index rates to states and calculating population weight averages. Energy costs rose 3.5% in conservative states compared to 5.2% in liberal ones. Oh, really? Yeah, it turns out that's not surprising, actually. With transportation at 0.7% versus 2.5%, the gap holds in major metro areas and under alternative measures like Governor Party. It's interesting because there was I did a TikTok video. Matter of fact, let me see if I can just pull it up for all of you. I want to see if I can find this lady's comment because it totally resonates with what Donald Trump's going to be having to deal with in a little bit. So let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find the latest video I did here really quick. Give me un momento. Nobody saw this coming. Prices.
Did you all hear the breaking news?
So let me
do
that, and then we're gonna go to this. Okay. So this is Clarksville. Let me see if I could read it. They forgot Washington State. I want to find the lady's comment. It was basically about what we've been talking about, affordability. Is she said prices haven't changed. And I might have to go down. There's a lot of comments here. But I want to find her comment. Can I sort by newest? Hold on a second. Let me see. Topics, inspiration, love. No, you can't sort on this version. Let's see. Prices. Nope, can't do that. All right. Well, we're going back to this. Let me get your guys' chat back up. Apologize. There we go. I know it was a lady. Man, I wish I could have found it. Let me see really quick. I tried to control find, but it wouldn't let me. She's basically talking about how prices haven't lowered and that things haven't really changed. And that's the exact messaging that Donald Trump's going to have an issue with, is because she's talking about how prices haven't gone down. But the problem is they're not going to go down, maybe slightly for some cases. Here we go, right here. Texas Pride 72. That is true. Gas prices are lower, but everything else is still the same or more expensive. Okay, other than what difference does it freaking make? Well, it makes a lot of difference because in some areas, this has a huge impact on people and their budget. A lot of people drive to work quite often. So just because it doesn't mean it cancels itself out. Egg prices are down a lot. There's a lot of good that comes from this, by the way. And this doesn't mean that in the short term, things are going to change. It might happen more in the long term. It takes time for these fuel prices to get caught up. For example, the price that you're paying at the pump now, if that stays, well, you have to give that cost reduction later on, hopefully, if it works out this way. It has to happen in the future. It doesn't happen the same day. Somebody in their business isn't, say you're charging, I don't know, I got a Biscoff thing here. You're charging, $3 for this Biscoff. Well, that $3 was predicated on something that's currently happening from, said past till now. But then now the gas prices are down. Well, you're still going to charge $3 for this Biscoff. But then once you see later on, like, oh, gas prices are staying pretty stagnant, or they're coming down, well, then you can start altering and messing with the price of this. It's not going to change all that much. The issue I'm talking about here is still the same. People are expecting prices to come down and go back to pre-COVID levels. It ain't happening, man. To some level, with some degree, it will. It's not. That is going to be such a hard and difficult thing to change. I just, it's an unrealistic expectation that Donald Trump has to try to alter in the minds of Americans. Good luck with that, man. And that's why I think we're going to get walloped. And it's not even the dude's fault. That's the messed up thing. The guy's doing everything he can. And I would tell you if he wasn't. Like, if I wasn't happy with what he's doing, like I said, I'm not totally stoked about the illegal immigration. I think that needs to get resolved on a way, way greater scale. But I think he's screwed, man. We got breaking. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was just proven correct, and the experts are still silent. Well, of course they are. I think it was like 30 of 31 experts said that what was going to happen wasn't going to happen. They were all wrong. 30 out of 31 experts were wrong.
Over a year, the average is 3% for liberal states and 2.5% for conservative states. And the divide only grows when you break it down by category.
Now, this report comes as President Trump is ramping up attacks against the Federal Reserve.
Over a year.
I love that. It's true, though. It's true. So here's a Fox business talking about this inflation. Matter of fact, let's see if we can play this. It's going to go to a commercial, but we'll play this because I want to see what they have to say. This is Ed Lawrence. He's also a White House correspondent for Fox.
The GDP estimate and other things. The senior counselor to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Joe Livornia. Joe, I wanted to start with this first on Fox Business report. The difference is, could it be the state policies where this is so different?
Well, you highlighted yes. The answer is yes. You highlighted energy. Energy certainly is a key input. It's a life necessity. I believe the numbers showed only a 3.5% increase in the conservative states versus a 5.2% increase in the liberal states. I'm in New York, and certainly with the lack of fossil fuel drilling or natural gas, the Marcellus Fault, I believe, which is an area that could have a tremendous amount of gas and energy supply, that's off limits, and there are a tremendous amount of restrictions and ability, Ed, to actually harness traditional energy sources so that you can improve people's daily lives and provide cheap, reliable energy. So I do think, yes, policy certainly is a factor, no question about it.
So it's interesting. The report broke down inflation based on party affiliation of the governor, too. Overall, in states run by Republican governors, inflation was 2.3%. For states with a Democratic governor, inflation ran 3% year over year. But look at this again. The widest margin was energy and transportation. For conservative governors, inflation 2.9% for energy and 0.6% for transportation. When you look at the governor as a Democrat, energy's up 5.3% and transportation up 2.1%. So should voters, be angry? And should that anger be pointed at the governor, not President Trump?
Yes. Absolutely. How is it all these other conservative states? Well, their averages are going down, but in the liberal states, the averages are going up. I'll tell you why. Well, the regulations, people are leaving. Also, there's a greater demand because you want to get rid of your oil refineries like we see in the state of California. Absolutely, it should be. But they're not going to do that. They're just going to blame Orange Cheeto Man, right? Donald Trump. Oh, he's so terrible. They never blame themselves for anything. No, they're not going to blame Gavin. They love this guy, Gavin Newsom. They love the crime, the homelessness, redistribution of wealth, the great leap forward that he wants to impose. Yeah, they're not going to blame. It's so easy to blame Donald Trump for everything because then you don't have to ever look at yourself and the way your state's being ran. But you'll complain about the way your state's ran. You're just blaming it on the wrong person. Doesn't matter. The place has been run right into the ground even when Joey's in office.
Ed, you raise what you call a rhetorical question, I think, but you mentioned policies, and if you have things like wind and solar and some other alternative sources which are not reliable and are very expensive, they need to be massively subsidized by the government for them even to be partially effective.
Correct.
You are going to be paying much higher costs. And I think.
Wow. Novel. I'm not beating this guy up. This guy's totally correct. It's just I'm being a smart aleck because by the way, I got to get shirts made. Let's pretend to be stupid. Let's just pretend. It was never affordable. I called it out when it was being implemented. It's not going to be affordable. Everybody was shouting to the skies the Affordable Care Act wasn't going to be affordable. Anything the government creates is usually not affordable. It always, to make it affordable, has to be subsidized by somebody else, which makes it less affordable.
I think it certainly impacts people's decision making. It hits them in the pocketbook. You have seen there's a lot of data that suggests there's been massive migration away from blue states into red states, in part because these cost of living issues, which certainly are policy related. So I guess it depends where you want to live and what you're voting for. But yes, policies have implications. And people in many cases are voting with their feet, as they say.
Right. Yeah, and we're seeing that migration. So, Joe, this report will be on foxbusiness.com, but it also broke down by metropolitan area. Now, New York saw overall inflation of 3%, with housing 4.2% and energy up 8.4% in New York City. Ooh. But a city like Dallas saw inflation of 1.1%, with housing at just 0.8% and energy at a 2% increase. So should these cities like New York look at maybe something that Dallas is doing and emulate that?
To some regard, yeah, but he's doing the right thing. And this is something we've talked about. Ed is trying his best to compare apples to apples, where people like to compare like certain countries to one another, but certain countries, it's hetero versus homo. So you don't really want to do that. When you get closer to a comparison that's natural, like looking at a city versus a city, blue city versus a blue city, locality versus locality that are similar in nature. It's tough to compare something in New York, by the way, but he's at least on the right track of making a comparison here. But I do think it's a little bit different. There's a way more impacted sector over there in New York City than I would say Dallas. So you would see a spike in inflation just because the demand is usually so high compared to Dallas, but I could be wrong on that one.
Well, Ed, I know in places like New York, which I'm very familiar with, you've got rent control. You're very difficult to build. The permitting process is very arcane and very cumbersome, very bureaucratic. You're seeing other places like California after the horrific wildfire. So yes, that does seem to be policy related. I mean, it's not there are places where the market works. The market is able to provide what people want, goods and services at a relatively or cheaper cost. You're seeing more market-based places, and President Trump is well aware of that. So we'll see what happens.
And we'll certainly see what happens. In the last 10 seconds, though, if I could, GDP report. GDP was 4.3%. Can that continue? That
is such an insane number, by the way, that GDP. And I think Scott Bessent was right. He said on the White House lawn yesterday, he said that's pretty much as good as it gets. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yes, productivity is running over 3%, and the private economy, Ed, grew almost 5% over the past 2 quarters. That's a direct result of President Trump's policies, big CapEx boom, narrowing in the trade gap, and a very resilient consumer, thanks to rising real wages.
Maybe we'll see over 2% for the whole year. We'll have to see. Joe, thanks for breaking all that down for us.
Impressive.
I appreciate it.
And the market's loving it. The market is up right now. So good on Trump for making things work, making things happen. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get a clip for all of you. See a White House GDP here.
Fantastic number, and it's really a fantastic number, and it's a great Christmas present for the American people. And I would say that the headline for me is 2 things. I think the big macro trends that we're seeing in these numbers are, first of all, that President Trump's trade agenda is working. And so we got about 1.5% of the growth on 4.3 because we reduced the trade deficit. And then the other thing that I think, which is a big macro thing that we're seeing, is that the artificial intelligence productivity boom is really clearly in the data. And I guess you and I are old enough that we remember back in the 90s when the computer came in, that all of a sudden you had like 4% quarters all the time, one after the other. And it kept surprising people because they thought, oh, computers are everywhere.
I think he's jumping the gun on this one.
Bit of the productivity data, but we're seeing it in the data, and we're seeing the same kind of regular surprises for market participants. And so we went back and we looked at every Bloomberg forecast for the main numbers since September and found that on average we outperformed the forecast 94% of the time. So if 94% of Wall Street economists are getting the macro trends wrong, they need to start to think about, hey, maybe Trump's policies are actually way better than we thought. And maybe the fake news that says all these terrible things about Trump policies should reconsider and grab their pencil and redo their economics.
It's tough to argue with that when you've been wrong 94% of the time. It's really tough to argue with that when 30 out of 31 experts were wrong. Man. But GDP growth is really, really through the roof there. And good on Donald Trump. I mean, that's a win. That is something that he needs to take with him. He needs to take with him on his, I'm not saying victory tour lap, his affordability tour, gas prices, GDP, future economy, speaking to people's wants and their needs, their hurts, and talking about that. It's a big messaging. You guys, even though things are looking good, people are still feeling it. In my video, I actually said, even with a rough economy, I was talking in terms of a rough economy being with how Americans are feeling. If the economy is great, it's record highs right now. Matter of fact, let me pull it up for you. Granted, this is the stock market, so it's not exactly a great representation of the economy, but it's still a good metric to look at just visually. I mean, it's great. I'm sorry, but I don't know. You can see it here. Let's just go to 5-year trend. In 5 years, the thing has boosted. It's gone up. It's never been higher. So that's what I'm looking at. That means my retirement's up. Your retirement's most likely up. The Dow's up. The NASDAQ's up. I mean, what more? GDP's up. Your gas prices are down. The hope is that hopefully we can keep them down. The hope is that that will transition into a little bit of a stagnation and more of prices. Every data point helps paint a story. Yeah. You can't look at one thing and then just zoom in on. You got to look at kind of everything as a whole. And things could change. Things could always change. I do think he is jumping the gun just a little bit. I understand the analogy with the incoming of the computer systems and the processing power and making things more efficient, that you constantly sell GDP and its efficiency, production helps. I do see the comparison with artificial intelligence. There is a huge investment with AI on behalf of all companies. People need AI. You do become more efficient with it. If you're sleeping on it, you're missing the mark greatly. But it also is, as far as what I've read, it's not necessarily transitioning into a ton of revenue. Meaning, I think it was somewhere in the realm of like 95% have not seen an increase in the revenue of something to do with AI. I'm dropping the ball on that, but we covered it in the past. But anyways, let's get to Minnesota here. There's more fraud. It's just like, bro, a part of me feels bad for Minnesota because they're the one that's like, they're laying down, right? They've been knocked out and people are just like coming up, just kicking them in the ribs and then in the head, right? They're knocked out. They're down. I mean, nobody's been put in jail yet. So I suppose maybe they deserve to be getting kicked. But can this happen in my state? Empty daycare raises alarms over Minnesota childcare fraud. So independent journalist Nick Shirley, who's been just doing the Lord's work on these on the street interviews. This is something that I think there's some big organizations that need to tap into. They need to be paying somebody full time to be doing what Nick Shirley's doing, going out streaming, and just doing what he's doing, uncovering stories like this. This is like, in my opinion, this is modern day journalism. It's partly investigative, but going out there and just live streaming and recording stuff constantly. I mean, the guy's a workaholic. He does great stuff. Follow Nick Shirley over on X, anywhere. Independent journalist Nick Shirley visited Quality Learning Center on December 23rd, yesterday, revealing a facility had had misspelled signage. A history of 95 violations since 2019. And 1.9 million in 2025 CCAP funding despite compliance issues. Let's see this really quick.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, quality...
Do you guys see it? Right there, there's no N. Leary Center. I think we're going to see more of these types of signs, though, because Americans don't know how to read. Granted, I screw up on my reading, too. But that's a rough one to get past. That's not exactly daycare you want to send your kid, right? When the people themselves don't even know how to read.
Learning Center is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday, and if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working. Midday, children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing, and like I said, they literally spelled...
Can I give the benefit of the doubt really quick? Just really, I mean, it's weird that it's closed. It is not uncommon. It's Christmas Eve. I mean, granted, this is the 23rd. Sometimes I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, okay, folks, so don't come at me. Sometimes there's nice employers that will give the 23rd off or do a half day, go enjoy time with your family, give those days off or whatever. Okay, I'm just giving benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just closed. Usually there's a sign or you can call somebody or, you know, it says, hey, we're closed for the day. Maybe you didn't reach the kids.
The word wrong on their sign. This is...
I suppose one of you... Should we call the number right now? Should we call the number live? You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. What's the... Hold on a second. Let me figure something out really quick. Let me see. Yeah. Let's call it. We're going to do it live on air.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Wow. I called it. That was it. Dang. I had the number right? 612-702. Yeah. Try again.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message.
Wow. Nope. Nothing, folks. Sorry. Hey, I tried, man. I really did. That's crazy. So you can't even get a hold of them anymore. Unbelievable. What does this say? Yeah, Nick Shirley. That's crazy though, man. So it says here, broader probes into Minnesota social services fraud, potentially up to $9 billion, have drawn federal scrutiny with Republicans accusing state officials of oversight lapses while Governor Walz defends ongoing anti-fraud measures. Wow. I can imagine how much of this is happening in California. Oh, dude. Yeah. I'm going to throw out a number. I think it's in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Across everything. Easily. I think the money that's thrown into the high-speed rail was pure corruption. I think the money that's being thrown in homelessness with these nonprofits, I think it's all BS. All of it. There's no way. I think there's a lot of fraud. Anyways, we'll try to call back in the future, see what we can get here. Same in Colorado, I guarantee. Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of that, speaking of California and auditing, oh, boy, do I have something for all of you. Un momento, please. We need to pull up the show notes. So 1 second, because actually I took them off for a a little bit. Here's my notes. Okay, so we have this. I'm going to play the video really quick, and then we'll talk about it.
California Congressman Kevin Kiley, he is sounding...
Matter of fact, before we do that, let's make this another segment for us going forward. So let's do this. We have a California auditor flagging 8 high-risk programs costing billions of dollars.
California Congressman Kevin Kiley, he is sounding the alarm in his home state, saying under Governor Gavin Newsom's leadership, it has become the, quote, fraud capital of America.
And we have team coverage. Our national correspondent Alana Austin is on Capitol Hill with more on the investigations into Tim Walz. But we start with correspondent Heather Myers, who has more on what is going on in California. A rainy day out there on the West Coast. Heather, what can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon to you, Katrina and Andrew. This latest report was issued by the state auditor, and that's a nonpartisan position. That state auditor now puts 8 state agencies on the high-risk list of agencies to watch out for things like fraud and mismanagement as well as waste. Here's a look at that 92-page report. Newly added to the high-risk list is California's food stamp program. If the state doesn't get the improper payments under control, it could cost an extra $2.5 billion. Also on there is the Department of Finance, which was tasked with giving out COVID relief funds. Critics say $32 billion of that was taken by fraudsters. Then there are infrastructure issues like California's deteriorating dams and also the high-speed train that's already cost taxpayers $18 billion without a single section of track complete.
Jeez, man, I almost spit out my coffee with all these prices. 32 billion, 8 billion, 2.5 billion. Jeez, Louise.
Reports cite $24 billion spent on the homeless issue that critics claim the state lost track of. More recently, there's a report that says California cell phone users paid a surcharge for years to upgrade the state's 911 system. Here's Congressman Kevin Kiley talking about what happened to that plan.
That after spending $650 million on that system, the state is totally scrapping it and starting over, completely wasted the money because the technology doesn't work. Mind you, we are very close to Silicon Valley in Sacramento, and yet the government can't figure out how to make basic technology perform.
Folks, we're not done. As you saw, let me make sure I get it back on the screen for all of you. As you saw, December 11th, there was an update. And the California State Auditor, as you just saw, flagged 8 separate state programs as high risk, meaning prone to fraud, waste, abuse, outright failure. And together, if you combine all of it, it involved tens of billions of dollars of our money. The Department of Social Services. So let's start with CalFresh, which is California's food stamp program that they referred to here in the video that we just saw. According to the audit, error rates are above federal limits. If nothing changes, taxpayers could be on the hook for $2.5 billion by 2028. That's not fraud, by the way. That's not fraud being caught. That's fraud being built into the system. And California is literally overpaying at a scale and calling it compassion. This is insane, bro. You also have unemployment fraud, and it's still not fixed. $1.5 billion, and it's counting. It's going up. Remember the COVID unemployment disaster? Well, the auditor does, because California still has $1.5 billion in improper unemployment payments on the books. Years later, the same agencies, by the way, paid for foreign fraud rings, paid fake identities, and the system still remains broken. Not a problem. It's totally like Minnesota. All of you said, Minnesota's the ones being beaten down, but California's doing the exact same thing on a way greater scale. Medi-Cal, what about that? Well, Medi-Cal is $1.9 billion. Healthcare is losing track of billions, losing track. Medi-Cal, California's Medicaid program. Auditors found accounting discrepancies, poor oversight, documentation failures, and potential exposure. $1.9 billion in questioned cost. That's healthcare funding vanishing in paperwork black holes. That's a clerical error. Look the other way, no problem. Just almost $2 billion with a B. What about COVID money still sitting around? Unspent, untracked, unaccountable, maybe? So while Californians were locked down and Gavin Newsom and his nut jobs go out for nice dinners with each other at the French Laundry, well, businesses shut down and kids fall behind. Billions in COVID relief funds were never properly tracked or spent. Gee, I wonder where all that money could have gone. Huh. Kind of like the homeless problem, too. Never tracked, never spent. Maybe it was spent. If it was spent, it went to weird people, odd people, millionaires, billionaires. Huh. Weird. Billions in COVID relief funds were never properly tracked. Now the state can't even clearly explain where all of it went or why it's still sitting unused while deficits explode. Well, I don't know. It's always, I don't know. Do you notice that whenever there's some sort of, I don't know. That's not mine. Ever seen that show Cops where somebody gets caught? No, I don't know how that got in there. Really, bro? You had like a kilo of Coke up your tushy. That's odd. What about cybersecurity failures and disasters? I mean, this report is so damning. I know none of us are shocked because I live here. The audit also flagged serious cybersecurity gaps, delayed IT projects, systems years behind schedule, and massive costs that have just overrun and it just exploded. In a state obsessed with regulating Silicon Valley, the government itself can't manage basic technology. It's so remarkable how there's all these regulations. You don't have to look any further than what's going on with the EPA in the state of California, but also what's going on over there in the Palisades, where the Palisades fire was, where people still can't build their properties because of regulations and they can't get permits. But yet when the government doesn't do something right, look the other way, no big deal, no problem. It's amazing how all this stuff comes down on you as the taxpayer, the one that's basically funding all this corruption, but yet nothing happens to these people at high levels. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know where $2 billion went, $32 billion. Just went somewhere. Infrastructure rot. 52 dams at risk. 5-2, folks. Yes, 552. It's amazing. It's the same way when you throw these big numbers out like this, where we had 43 oil refineries back from the 1980s, and today now we have 5. When you start looking at stuff on a holistic view of the damaging effects of the Democrat Party in this state, it's indefensible. It really is. 52 state dams are in deteriorating condition. Reports are delayed. Repairs have been stalled. Risk is only increasing with these. And by the way, this isn't theoretical. This is physical infrastructure decay with billions wasted elsewhere or just not being spent at all, according to what we saw with COVID. The response they're giving everybody to all this, oh, we're working on it. We'll get it done. Isn't that so similar to what Joey said for 4 years? We'll fix it. What's an example? Illegal immigration. It's just a situation. It's just a challenge. We'll get to it when we get to it, but don't worry. We also are working on it, but we'll get to it when we get to it. And they never did, right? They just allowed millions of people to pour across the border. It's incredible. State agencies have responded with the usual script. Here's some quotes for all of you that they're saying. So not only are we working on it, right? They said we've made progress. We dispute some findings. You got to love that, the word some. And then reforms are underway. How about my money? How do I get that back? Also, who got my money? Because nothing's being done. It's only gotten worse. I mean, it's so remarkable how Democrats continue to fund things that never lead you anywhere or make matters worse. Who does that, by the way? Would you ever pay a contractor and continue to pay the idiot that's making your house objectively worse? Would you continue to shell out all that money? Would you keep going to an auto mechanic that keeps making your car worse? He's not actually fixing it or making it better and improving upon it. He's just, I don't know, stealing the tires from it, taking out the engine so the thing doesn't actually run away. Would you continue to pay that guy? I don't think so. It's silly analogies, but it totally makes sense on an individual level. The auditor wasn't buying it, by the way. The report calls for urgent fixes, especially as California faces massive budget deficits. But don't worry, we have 4% GDP over the fourth biggest industry economy in the world. Yeah, that's what the Democrats in my state keep saying. Oh, don't worry, yeah, we're still fourth. Wow, you can label one point that he's good at, which he had no involvement in. It's just, it really drives you up the wall. You also have fraud capital of America. So Kevin Kiley, as you saw, he says the quiet part out loud. He said California is becoming the fraud capital of the world. Yeah, all the highlights on Minnesota. How about you come here and start looking under the hood of what's going on in my state? Because the stuff you're going to find, I don't think there's greater fraud in the entirety of the United States of America, the entire union. When programs reward volume over verification, DEI replaces oversight, and bureaucracy replaces accountability, fraud isn't a bug, man. It is a business model. It's systemic in this state. This is when you have decades of one-party control that produces decades of, not compassion, not efficiency or equity whatsoever, but a system where billions disappear. Audits just warn things, don't actually fix anything. Politicians shrug it off, by the way. And taxpayers pay the bill. We're the ones that get reamed and screwed, and Democrats love it. They say, thank you, sir, may I have another? California doesn't have a money problem, it has a governance problem. In the same way we saw this on a federal level. We didn't have just a party problem. We had a president problem and a party problem at the same time. And all it took was Donald Trump to come in office and fix things. If you enjoyed what you saw here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We go live each and every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we have a book called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Everything can be found at my website, baldbrad.com. Again, that's baldbrad.com. Appreciate you. All right, well, there's another video in the bag. Isn't this just nuts, man? Isn't this just bonkers? And we're all focused on Minnesota. I mean, and rightfully should be focused on Minnesota. It's bad here, guys. I know I keep saying I don't have a word to describe how insane it is. People are like, why'd you just move? Because I'm on the front lines. I'm saving our country. I don't believe that I do believe I'm on the front lines, but I don't believe I'm saving the country here. But it was fun to say and shout. All right, let's see what else we have here, folks. By the way, thanks for hanging out with me. It's good to see you guys. We're trying a different time slot, so thank you for, and also I'm on vacation, man, so I want to sleep in a little bit. Waking up at 4:30 every morning is rough. I'm not a morning person, and I'm not complaining. We do it for the show, but anywho. Well, here's a Stephen Miller. Look how powerful the Democrat Party became in Minnesota once they flooded it with 100,000 Somalis. There's some truth to that. We covered it.
Add up to. Why are they engaged in all this? What is their objective here? It's the Somalification of America. In other words, when you see the state of Somalia, that's what they want for America at the end of the day, because it's easier to rule over an empire of ashes than it is for the Democratic Party to rule over a functioning, Western, high-trust society with a strong middle class. Look how powerful the Democrat Party became in Minnesota once they flooded it with 100,000 Somalians. Once the elections were decided, right, by clan rivalries and ethnic feuds. Once that happened, the Democrat Party became permanently powerful in Minnesota. They became permanently powerful in the Twin Cities. That's their model for America, to make the whole country into a version of Somalia. And everything they do gets down to that. So when you ask me what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving, I praise God every day that Donald Trump is our president. And we've gone from 30% inflation, 20 million illegals, unlimited refugees.
I mean, Stephen Miller, he's popping off, man. He's not wrong. He is not wrong. I thank God every day that Donald Trump, I prayed for it. We all prayed for that Donald Trump would win. And this is exactly what we wanted. We wanted to make sure that ultimately things would be fixed. And he's not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. I mean, there's always counterforces, the Democrat Party and the progressive left. There's a bunch of people that want to go against the American agenda. They don't like us. And Donald Trump has had the most successful presidency, I think, in modern history. In the first 11 months. And Stephen Miller believes the same thing.
The last 11 months have been the most successful 11 months in the history of the American presidency. Think about what President Trump inherited and what we have today. We just got a blockbuster 4.3% economic growth report for Q3, for the third quarter today, smashing expectations, fueled by rising consumer demand, and here's a key word, American exports. Our whole lives, all we've had are imports. Imports from Asia, imports from Mexico, imports from Canada. Now we're an exporting powerhouse. Energy prices are down. Gas prices have been cut by almost 50%. We're an energy superpower. We're a manufacturing superpower. And also, very importantly, we are a technology superpower. After years of watching other countries invent the new technologies, beat us in 5G, under President Trump, we have a revolution in quantum computing, artificial intelligence, advanced manufacturing, and we're bringing the semiconductor industry back to the United States. A technology superpower, a manufacturing superpower, and most importantly of all, a military superpower. You saw the announcement today about the Golden Dome, the Golden Fleet, the next generation of battleships, or the announcement yesterday, about how the president is making the American military the dominant, overwhelming, lethal force of the 21st century. The border is slammed shut, crime is plummeting, illegals are going home, and America is for Americans again. You could not ask for a better Christmas list than that, Charlie.
Yeah. Oh my god. Clip it. Oh baby. Look, he's right. What can you say? Snow bells are ring ding 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 do. It's a lovely weather for Donald Trump to be president. We are getting everything we wanted on that Christmas wish list. We are fixing America so quickly with Donald Trump in office. You know if you walked around with a MAGA hat on like this and you were just prancing around and singing, I love Trump, he's making America great again, after Joe Biden tried to destroy this great country of ours. Boom, baby. It's the best Christmas gift that we ever gotten was Trump. Don't we have fun as a party? I gotta say it, look, we get a little upset every now and then. We do. How could you not? But we have so much fun. You don't get this type of fun on the left-hand side of the aisle and the Democrat side. They're never laughing. You know what I mean? They're always so serious. They're always so angry all the time. We have a good time because we're making everything so freaking great. In this, you know what? There's a difference here. Okay. I just want to show you something. We gotta go to the big screen. Yeah, we gotta go to the big screen here. Oh, it's not going to really work this way. I guess we got to do this. Okay, so here's the Democrats with the big old booty. All right, there's Democrats. And then there's us. Having a good time. Oh, everything's going in the right direction. We're solving wars. We're fixing illegal immigration. We got Doge. We're saving you thousands of dollars in your pocket. We're catching fraud, waste, and abuse. Like, there's some things we fell short on. The Epstein files. That's it. But hey, other than that, things are looking pretty good. It's going to be a nice Christmas, is it not, you guys? Maybe for some it's not. Okay, I'm wishing all of you a very nice Christmas. But on the big, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Alrighty, what else do we got here in the news? Well, holy smokes, it's now coming out that Somalis buy homes in Minnesota to use as home care. They sit empty, then bill the state for millions per year. What? What? We got more fraud?
Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said, by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center. She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them. But the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes. And these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money. They are banking on this, making millions of dollars. And the government here in Minnesota is too lazy to go and check it out and to see if there's even clients living in these homes.
I don't think they're lazy. I think they just don't want to.
The fraud in Minnesota is so deep. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
And that dude was almost Vice President Tim Walz. It's a going theory. It has yet to be disproven. If you allow a massive amount of fraud, if you suck at your job in the Democrat Party, What do we always say here, folks? For the last 5 years, we've said it, and it's always proven to be right. You get elevated to the highest levels of office. The Democrat Party saw all this fraud. They got millions of people to choose from for vice president, and they choose Tim Walz. They just oddly chose Kamala Harris to be the running as president. They chose Sleepy Joe. It has yet. I'm undefeated. I'm like Joe Biden's teleprompter. Joe Biden's teleprompter whooped his tushy for 4 years straight. I still want a selfie with it. And we're undefeated. And so is his teleprompter. Well, we have more stuff here. We talked about this yesterday, but it's not going anywhere because I don't want to allow this to go anywhere because I was told I was a conspiracy theorist. I was told I was wrong. I was told I didn't know what I was talking about. And I was told to shut my mouth. A Fulton County election official testified under oath that she saw 100% of military absentee ballots go to Joe Biden. That's impossible, by the way.
I estimated that somewhere between 80 and 90% were going to Joe Biden. Throughout the day, it kept making me sicker and sicker every time I saw another Biden. And then I'm going through batches. 100% of the batches were Biden.
All you need to do, this is all, you can audit this easily. You call the military service member. That's what you do. And by the way, you can actually do it even quicker. You can ask the military, I don't know if this is legal, but you can ask them, who'd you vote for in the 2020 election? And you can just say Trump, Biden, NA, maybe didn't vote at all. And you can just audit that way and just see the discrepancies right there. Oh, it's so easy. Oh, this is an auditing dream. Now, could they have lied? Sure. But they're in the military. Now, if they lied, what you do, or if you can research it, investigate it. Hey, we saw here that you voted for Biden, but it says you voted for Trump, or it says you didn't vote at all. Well, how can you explain this? And your signature's allegedly supposed to be on it, right? You're supposed to vote for it. What can you explain this? How did your signature? Then you look at it. Well, that's not my signature, sir. Oh, really? Matter of fact, I didn't even vote, sir. Oh, this can all be investigated really easy. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because you know why they don't want to do it in the same way of why they don't want to look into the fraud that's going on there in Minnesota. Why? Because that's Pandora's box and that's where it all explodes. They know very well that Donald Trump won 3 times. Oh boy, do they.
I find that statistically impossible.
Uh-huh. It is statistically very good. Very good. It is statistically impossible. In the same way, I've talked about this yesterday. I know high schools have 100% graduation rates. That's impossible, by the way. That's actually impossible. You are dealing with forces, and the only way you get to that number is by manipulation. And that's exactly what you're seeing here, folks. Boy, oh boy. Here's that Christmas gift. Let's zoom in on this for all of us. Let's do this. Bam. You know what? Hold on a second. Please forgive me. Okay. We're going to do this. I'm going to get flagged for copyright, and I don't care. Not what I wanted. Hold on a second. Here we go. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. We have learned that GDP has surged past expectations to 4.3%. Inflation came in below expectations at 2.7%. Huh. Isn't that nice? Christmas time, huh? Don't you guys feel good? Yeah. The trade deficit was cut in half. You know what? We're going to let this sizzle a little bit. I got goosebumps. I'm not kidding. I'm electrified right now. We're going to let this sizzle. We're going to enjoy this. Who thought we would get this in 11 months and it's Christmas? Rub it in their faces. Rub it in their faces. so delightful. No place to go. All right, we're back to it. Renting is declining. Rents are declining. That's good. Trillions in domestic investments. It's a lot of money. A lot of money's coming in. It's pouring in. You've never seen anything like it. Gas is dropping below $2 in those. People were posting on that TikTok that I made. Folks are posting under $2. I haven't seen that since the 90s, since I was a young boy. Nostalgia. How are y'all feeling right now? I'm feeling good. Millions of foreigners are already gone. See ya. Adios. All net jobs are going to Native Americans. That's good. That's us, actual Americans. They're net jobs. The U.S. murder rate is going to drop the most in history. That's great. Hundreds of children are being rescued. 130,000 children, by the way. 130,000 children. Chris Wizard says, cringe. It's not cringe, Chris, okay? What a Debbie Downer. What a Debbie Downer. You got to come in here and ruin it for all of us. I'm being a smart aleck. I appreciate you being in here, but you really are a Debbie Downer. I don't like it, okay? You're raining. You're crapping on my parade, Chris. Where were we? And I'm not going to let you ruin it for me, okay? I'm having a good time here. See, this show is about making myself happy. Look, it's selfish. It's selfish. But Donald Trump's selfish too sometimes. It's pro-American selfish. And I have that selfishness ingrained in me because I'm a pro-American. I'm an all-American boy, Chris. And you're not going to take my Christmas spirit. No, you're not. The Democrats want to take it. The Democrats say cringe. The Democrats want to take your thunder. And I'm not going to allow it. Because we can embrace the Trumpisms. We can embrace what we've now learned about how Donald Trump makes America strong again. Trump makes America rich again. Trump makes America safe again. Trump makes America powerful again. Trump makes America wealthy again. And Donald Trump makes America great again. That's why you guys come here. For the entertainment. You don't get this anywhere else. You really... I just spilt my coffee everywhere. No! I'm too excited. Settle down. Settle down, you animal. They're animals. MS-13, they're violent gang members. Yes, Merry Christmas. Merry freaking Christmas, man. Boo doo 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 doo. It just rubs them the wrong way. They get upset when you get all hyped up that Donald Trump's in office. We got what we voted. I mean, it's the best Christmas gift ever, really. Really, it's the best Christmas gift ever. And they get upset because we're in a good mood, you know what I mean? They get upset because we're happy and they're not. I mean, it is what it is. Oh, boy, is this real? Oh, God, here we go again. Here we go again. The Debbie Downers always have to rain in our parade. Tim Walz, here he is. The guy took a page out of Joe Biden's page book with fraud, I guess. During a press conference, this happened 30 minutes ago, addressing ICE operations and metro surge in Minneapolis areas like Cedar Riverside, Walz criticized Vance's recent comment that white people no longer need to apologize for their race, calling it open promotion of white supremacy and linking it to federal actions targeting Somalis for political gain. Oh boy, what a spin.
So this is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you.
What about state government? What about a local government, dude? What about when you have massive fraud in the tunes of billions of dollars, buddy?
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when
When they target communities for their, I told you, I'm going to play it. I will shut up. I just want to make this one point. I'm going to start it all over again. I just want to make this one point. Please. This is projection. You will almost always be correct when you hear a Democrat talking about somebody else. It could be almost anybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Republican. They're projectionists. They are actually talking about themselves almost all the time.
So this is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. That's never happened once in my whole damn life. And I think everybody in this room knows what they're doing. So we're here today to say enough of this. We're here today to stand that Minnesota will protect their neighbors. So
the guy said absolutely nothing. I mean, he really said absolutely nothing. So, what are people saying here? Let's just go to the comments. I'm curious. I'll take a little peek under the hood here. There's a little peek-see. Everybody, hold on a moment. Just a little peek-see. It's okay to be white. Yes, it is. It's okay to be black. By the way, it's not like you get to choose. You know what I mean? Well, some people might think, supposedly, I guess you could, right? If we're going to be in a leftist mindset, you could pretend to be something that you're not, I guess. I mean, a man can be a man. A man can be a man. A man cannot become a woman, but if you're the Democrat Party, it can. So I suppose if your gender's fluid, why wouldn't your race be? I guess you could be black if you wanted, or Mexican, or whatever. Where are we at here? I'm moving to Somalia. I demand free housing, food, and run for government while campaigning on supporting American Christian values. Then I'll wave the American flag and talk about how terrible Somalia is. Wish me luck. That is good. Oh boy, that is good. Oh boy. Somalians, liberals, that is too much. I got to get that off the screen. Santa Claus. Can you guys see that okay? There we go. Maybe, does that work? Which one works better? There we go. Oh, let's zoom in a little bit here. There you guys go. Now you can see better. I'm sick of white guys apologizing for race they were born into. That's exactly what I just said. It's not like you have a choice. Let's fix this a little bit here. I'm going to come this way. And we'll go like that. There we go. All right. If Tim Walz turned a blind eye to fraud committed by Somalians, for the most part for votes, then he has to find justice. How could this fraud have gone on for so long without Tim knowing about it? I'd wager it couldn't have happened without Tim Walz and possibly Omar too. Well, they almost all voted for the Democrat Party, and without the Somali community, he wouldn't have won. So I think there is a good justification for this type of thinking. Redaction. Walz has already let them rob his state blind. Tim Walz is I can't say it. I can't say certain words on YouTube. I'll get removed. We are the governor now. Oh boy. Oh boy. People are funny. People are really, really funny. Merry Christmas, Patriots. Thanks for all the laughs, Brad. Here is to a blessed MAGA 2026. Thank you, Q. 1969. Appreciate that. Thanks, Q. QV8. Wow. Go away, Timmy. Yeah. He's not going anywhere, though. He might be. He might run for president the route that he's going. If he can only commit more fraud, he could probably be the next president of the United States on the Democrat side of the aisle. That's really the only way that he's going to get there. Let's see what we have here next in the news. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. I really appreciate it. This is actually a lot of fun. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have today for our guests. California Auto, we covered that. We covered that. We covered that. Let's see what else we have here in the news. By the way, thanks to everybody watching over at YouTube, X, Rumble. We're also on Kick. We got people coming in and watching from everywhere. Greatly appreciate all you guys. This is always fun to hang out with a bunch of people. If you're new here, let us know in the chat, by the way. We have over 100,000 subscribers over at YouTube. We got almost 75,000 subscribers over at TikTok. I mean, we're kind of everywhere. So always appreciate the love and kindness you guys support and you show me. By the way, if you want to, might as well plug this a little bit. We don't have any sponsorships here. If you want, we have a book called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. You get yourself a copy today by going either to Amazon. You can get the Kindle version. Matter of fact, maybe I should send you to my publisher. Let me do that so you can get yourself a copy. Because Amazon is completely sold out of our book. Clearly, it's a good book. People are like, we're sold out. I mean, I tell them to stock the shelves. They're trying their best. It's the stuff, it's selling like hotcakes. So it's clearly a good book if we're sold out on Amazon. Sometimes Walmart will carry it, Barnes & Noble as well. Let me take you directly to the publisher. I'm going to give you the link so you guys can order it over there. I will give you the paperback version. If you wanted the hardcover, it's called Dustback, but here you go. It's a good book. Thank you, Feck, and I appreciate that. I enjoy the book. I mean, I know I wrote it. It's kind of like patting myself on the back, but I wrote a book that I would want to read, that I would actually be interested in. So here's that. Liberty Hill Publishing is our publisher, and you guys can grab it over there. But it takes you through the mythology of the Trojan horse, where you had the great city of Troy that allowed in a Greek horse, and there was enemies with inside it, right? And they destroyed the city from the inside out. So I take that analogy and I apply it to the Democrat Party that allowed the leftist ideology that acts as a Trojan horse into the great city, the great country of the United States of America, utilizing its ideologies to destroy us from the inside out. Racism, fascism, critical race theory. We got a chapter on abortion. COVID-19's in there, liberalism, Black Lives Matter. Anti-police movement. We talk about it all in this book, and it really equips you with what's happening in our country. And I wrote it because I wanted something to be evergreen. I wanted something to be timely all the time. And this is the book that will do it, man. This book, I think it's going to go on for another decade at least. And by the way, if you enjoy Glenn Beck, if you enjoy the guys over at the Daily Wire or Steven Crowder or whatever, you're really going to enjoy this book. People buy Charlie Kirk's book and Glenn Beck's book along with ours side by side. So that's always nice. I avoid Wally World at all costs. I've never been there. The last time I saw Wally World was with Chevy Chase. National Lampoon. Let's see if we're missing anything else really quick. If not, then we'll kind of see. By the way, Merry Christmas again to everybody. I hope all of you have a blessed and enjoyable Christmas with your family. And tell somebody you love them today. You know what I mean? Call up somebody you haven't talked to in a long time and just say, hey, you know what? I was watching this guy's stream and I haven't talked to you in a while. I just want to say I love you and I hope that you're doing well. Even a text message, even if you're like, I don't want to call somebody, man. I don't want to be bogged down. I haven't talked to this person in years. I don't want to be bogged down with a bunch of stories. Toss them a text message. That's always the easy one. If you're just joining us, by the way, we tried calling that. Let's do it again. I want to come back to this. We tried calling this this community. We'll give them a call again.
Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong and they said leering.
All right, so we're going to try to call this learning center again live on air. Last time we went straight to voicemail, which tells me maybe they took off their number, or it's a cell phone, or it's just not legit. We're giving them a buzz again.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone.
A little odd. Anybody, you could try calling it. Let me know. Somebody call this number really quick. The 612-702-4012. And let me know if it's going to voicemail for you too. I'm curious. I'm not saying we all start spamming it, right? Because then they're not, it's going to get blocked or whatever. But a little curious. I am a little bit curious on if you're getting through. Let me know. Let me know if you're getting through because I'm not. Let's see what the people are saying here. I have more businesses that I will be exposing in the coming days. Oh, this is from Nick Shirley. In one afternoon, me and my crew exposed over 200, well, not 200 million. Geez, Brad, focus. 20 million in fraud. Follow me to not miss it. Again, that's Nick Shirley, you guys over there at X. Insane is ALX. Savannah Hernandez, who does very much the similar stuff. She does great reporting. Incredible job as always, Nick. Absolutely. I mean, the guy's doing more work than CNN, MSN, DNC combined. That is hilarious. If you're on audio, they showed Rome in 320. One second. Let me collect my thoughts. Okay. All right. I don't know if I should be laughing at this. Okay. On your screen, there's a picture of Rome. 320. And then on the right-hand side, there's a picture of Somalia 2025, and it's a freaking, it's a hay hut made of like, in the dirt. Oh boy. Now, people get upset over this. I mean, there is truth to it that it talks about just how there's certain societies that were able to become just empires, man. Just a beacon of just sheer power. And it's because of their ideas. It's because of their ideology. It's because of their culture. And the big one is culture. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong. Culture. There you go. Culture matters. I should have read it. I'm sorry. I should have read it. I love American news. Culture matters. Yes. Yes. Oh boy. Actually, let's go to End Wokeness. Usually, hold on. Let me End Wokeness usually has good stuff. We'll head over there. Face blue smiling. Yep. Let's see what we got. Alrighty. Largest annual drop in homicides ever. That's always good. That's a plus. Donald Trump's so terrible. People are living more. Oh God, we should blame him for this. Donald Trump is making people not be murdered anymore. What is this? What is this?
Malcolm, you've said things like black women are biologically different than white women.
Yes, they have different fertility windows. They have a higher rate of fertility complications. 50%.
There's no scientific evidence to prove that a black woman and a white woman are genetically different, right? This is like...
What are you talking about?
No,
literally, there are genes that code for their skin color. There are genes that...
Again, this is like government data. This is EMI, right? This is the National Institute of Health. This is the American Medical Association. Like, there is no scientific evidence to prove that.
And that's a big problem, right? Because
there's no scientific evidence.
And that's why I asked.
Like IQ differences. Black people are genetically different from other populations.
And I'll say that again. There is no scientific evidence to prove that, right? And as people
I'm sorry, I'm stating, do you want to ask an AI if there's scientific evidence to prove that?
No, I want to ask...
because what you're stating is just factually incorrect. Humans are genetically diverse. It's not a bad thing that humans are genetically diverse.
I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing. I'm saying there is no scientific evidence.
And I'm saying that is a factually...
And he's saying that there is scientific evidence.
There is scientific evidence. There is overwhelming scientific evidence.
And this
basics... No. This is like saying the sky is not blue. Like, it is genes that code their skin color, right? Those genes are obviously different in them than they are in us. How is that not science? That's just like a basic fact. The genes that code their skin color, their level of melanin production, are different from my genes that code melanin production.
And that's precisely why I was asking this question, because I think for some people that do believe, like you, that people are genetically different, that has historically been used to promote racial hierarchies, right? And that's why I'm asking you, because
the hell did I just stumble upon? Go into the chat. We're going to the chat here. Genetic differences are real. Oh boy, those screen grabs. I know exactly what this person's talking about. These two eye roll moments are peak. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Most people who have these arguments are not the kind of people who will change their mind with good evidence. That's correct. They aren't ready to give up their worldview over one piece of evidence. Hey, Grok, who is this woman saying there's no scientific evidence that white people and black people have different genes? Let's see if Grok answers it. The video appears to be an AI-generated or edited clip using footage from the 1994 film Reality Bites. The woman saying there's no scientific evidence of genetic differences between black and white people is actress Winona Ryder portraying the character. The dialogue doesn't match the original video. That's not Winona Ryder. Yo, that's crazy, dude. Yo, what a smack in the face to Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder's hot. This lady is just kind of that typical lefty that you would see, right? With the sweater around, right? You know, you're almost going to like a country club, and you know, all of us peasants aren't as smart as her, you know. Bro, that Grok, come on, dude. You know, sometimes AI just misses. It gets a lot of things right, but boy, oh boy, does it get a lot of things wrong. That's a rough one. Oh, bro was angry. Yeah, he was. Oh boy, we got to continue to go. I heard about this today when I woke up. Mayor-elect Mamdani says the fire department of New York will finally have a lesbian in charge named Lillian. I thought this was AI. Oh, boy. No. Hey, it's what they voted for. You know what I mean? They could do it. She could do it. I'll be honest. Can I be real here? She does look like she could carry you up a flight of stairs, boys. She does look like, she looks like a linebacker from the freaking Detroit Lions. This lady could run center tackle. All right. Who am I to judge? Matter of fact, there is a clip of this. Oh boy. Let me, maybe it's not a bad pick after all. Some burly lesbians out there. And that's not, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not. And she might not even be a lesbian.
That I will be appointing Lillian Bonsignor as the fire commissioner of FDNY, overseeing over 11,000 uniformed firefighters, 4,500 EMTs, and over 2,000 civilian employees.
I am honored, so honored, and humbled to stand before you as the new fire commissioner. This appointment represents a significant responsibility, one I accept with humility, dedication, and a deep sense of commitment to the city and its people. First and foremost, I want to thank Mayor-elect Mamdani for his trust and confidence. His vision of a new era signals a time of opportunity and progress, and I am proud to serve during this important time for our department and our city.
She's been around for a while. What do you guys think about that? Let me see what people are saying here. Oh boy, I remember this one.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house,
This is LA. This is a DEI hire. I covered this.
Emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or, you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
It's just, hold on a second. You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. Because, yeah, when I'm having an emergency and I'm about to die, that's exactly what I want to look for as a white guy. I don't care who you are. As long as you can pick my lifeless body up off the ground and carry me out of a burning building so I don't turn to ash. I don't care what. You could be a woman, by the way, as long as you can do the job. You could be, there's some women that can beat us up, boys, okay? There's some big girls out there. There's some Nordic women that's just huge. Not huge as in, fat, but huge as in they're just big women, man. Hey, if you could do the job to the level of a man, I got no problems. As long as the standards aren't lowered, I don't care. I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you are. As long as when I'm in an emergency situation, I'm not looking for anything other than the fact of, can you help me? It's not difficult, but don't worry. If you're a black person, you want to make sure that only a black person. And if you're a, by the way, this is stupid. Can I just give an example? I don't know if we're allowed to use the term midget, small people anymore. I can't keep up with all like the language variation of what's derogatory and what isn't anymore. I live under a rock. When you have a little person that's a black trans person, and you are a black trans, little person too, and you're in the middle of a fire, is that what you're looking for? It's a real question. Just asking. I'm asking for anybody that's black, a little person, that is trans. Are you looking for that exact same thing in this situation? Just curious, because she said that you're looking for a person that looks like you. That's a good question. That's a question I think we all have. That's what I'm like. It's not what I believe. I'm asking you what she's saying, if that's what you're looking for. I'm doing investigative journalism. Height challenge. Okay, thank you, John. I appreciate that. Are you looking for somebody that is height challenged, trans and black, to come save you? And would you, as somebody that's height challenged, black and trans, looking for the same thing while your place is burning on fire? I'm asking for a friend. Jeez, man. Let's see what other people are saying here. A man taking estrogen and then announcing he is biologically a woman is as delusional as me taking vitamin C and announcing I am now a citrus fruit. Oh, look, I'm proud of myself for reading that without even a twitch in my face. What an incredible thing to say. For those that missed it, Ellie here, who is an adult human female, at actual female 1, a man taking estrogen and then announcing he is biologically a woman is as delusional as me taking vitamin C and announcing I am now a citrus fruit. What an incredible thing. Oh, God, that was good. Look, I hope it works out for her. I do. And I hope it works out for New York City. I hope this is a good pick, and maybe it will. Doesn't look like a healthy individual. Does not look like she's carrying going up 107 stories for the World Trade Center, but maybe she did. Maybe she was in the World Trade Center. Who am I to judge? Maybe she was carrying up all that stuff and saving lives. Hell, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, there's not a ton of fires nowadays. The fire department responds more to homeless situations than they do fires or anything else. So it's not, I suppose it's not really that big of a deal anymore, right? But it is a deal when you need people to come in, though. It is a big deal when you're in that emergency situation and things are on fire. At that point, I guess it does matter. I think that's it. I think we're going to cut it there. We've been streaming for an hour 40. I hope all of you have a Merry Christmas. We might do a show tomorrow. Maybe we'll see. I wouldn't imagine there's much viewership just because people are enjoying their family. So we'll probably take tomorrow off. And thank you to everybody that joins me. Always appreciate the love and kindness that you guys show. Read the book Fool's Gold. I actually have heard about Fool's Gold. There was the individual on AM 640, the author of that was talking about that book. You're right. That is a good call. Fool's Gold, about Gavin and political cronies. Yes, it's something I've actually been wanting to read. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Check out my book, since we're talking about books, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. You get yourself a copy on Amazon. Kindle, if you have Kindle. By the way, you can download the Kindle app and just read it on your phone. You don't even have to have an actual Kindle. You can get the Kindle app on your phone for free and just purchase the book and read it on your phone, or just help a brother out and fill a Patriot and just buy the book. You don't have to read it. Just buy it. Hope all you have a lovely Christmas. Merry Christmas, you guys, and a Happy New Year. We'll be back here after Christmas. What is today? Is today Wednesday? So we'll be back here Friday. We don't take days off, do we? Yeah, we do. But anyways, God bless all of you. Thank you for your love and kindness. Check out baldbread.com. There's a donation tab up there if you want to do a little Christmas cheer. And matter of fact, let me link you it if you would like. Don't feel like you have to. This isn't a grifting thing, but donations always help. They always help the show and grow. So we have a donation tab up here at the top. I gave you guys a link in the chat. If you feel like it, if you want to do a little Christmas dono, that's there. One-time donation. You could throw a custom amount in. $100 always works. $100 is nice. $1,000. If you do a 10,000, I don't bat an eye over it. I appreciate the help. So present a valid amount. Let's do 10,000. There you go. Look at the 10,000 number. One-time donation. Appreciate everybody that always helps the show grow. Appreciate all your guys' love, kindness, and Merry Christmas once again. Merry Christmas, Miriam. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody in the chat. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you any money. We do this each and every morning. And follow me on X. We have a Facebook page now. Yes, we have a Facebook page. Truthfully, you guys been asking for a Facebook page for a long time. And I'm just so busy, but I need to learn Facebook. So let me give you the link to the Facebook page so you guys can follow me. We're gonna try to grow Facebook in 2026. That's one of our goals, is to get that going in 2026 and get that up and running and learning about it and stuff like that. So there's more of an audience for us over there, actually, because it's an older group, and we have a lot of older people that watch the show. By older, I mean like my age and up. So I'm 36. I'd say from 30 and up, probably use a little bit more of Facebook. So with that being said, head over there, give us a follow. And try to interact with as much as you can on Facebook, like commenting. It does, like, I would say more than YouTube now. Facebook actually does analyze our account, and the more that it sees engagement with comments and stuff like that, it does help the show actually a lot. So we're going to try to build that up, and I need your help to do that over at Facebook. So if you have a Facebook account, it's free to follow us over there, and we're going to be posting stuff probably 3 to 6 times a day, somewhere in that range. So we'll schedule stuff out, and I'll try to interact as much as I possibly can with you over there. Her out of the 5%, how is she qualified? That's a great question, Shroba. That is a great question. All righty, folks. Well, God bless you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And we'll see you later here on the Bull Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.